If I had to sum up today's entire video in a single word, it would be opinionated. I believe the internet has elevated the art of giving unsolicited opinions to a new level. If you post something, somebody will tell you how they feel about it, whether you asked or not. And I've seen unsolicited opinions on everything from pregnancy announcements to tax evasion tutorials, which is something I've never looked up. But today, we've been given a rare opportunity to offer advice to people who have actually asked. And as you're gonna see, a lot of these people could definitely use the advice. But first, welcome. My name is D'Angelo, and I am your professor of chronologically recursive history, which is a very real degree that I definitely do have. Or maybe I'm just broadcasting myself talking in my room like YouTube used to be. And today's lecture is highly interactive. I have carefully curated a few posts from the subreddit r/AmIOverreacting. We'll go through each post together. I'll offer my opinions, you can offer yours, and I will also be grading each post for authenticity, because people do in fact lie a lot on the internet. But I, of course, would never lie to you on the internet. I only lie to the IRS. I need to stop making these tax evasion jokes because I feel like my FBI agent's just gonna come for me through the screen. There's gonna show up like the girl from The Ring, like, where is your 1040? Anywho, am I overreacting to my boyfriend's boundaries? And this is tagged as a relationship question. My boyfriend's boundaries feel controlling to me. Okay, divorce him. Sounds like you're not even married yet, but I don't care. File for divorce yesterday. Just kidding. But if they do feel controlling, we're not off to a good start. Anyways, my boyfriend's boundaries feel controlling to me, but that might be because I suck at setting boundaries. Maybe I just don't know what healthy boundaries are. His boundaries are he won't put up with someone dressing in a manner he doesn't like. Nope, file it, ditch him. How to file for divorce in 2024. His words, I will not be with someone that thinks it is okay to walk around without a bra. You know, I actually think this is fine. You should just tell him that you agree. I won't be with someone who won't wear a bra. I'd just be like, you're right. You're not going to be with me. Thank you for figuring that out for me. Not that I've ever had to wear a bra, but the point remains. I won't be with someone that thinks it is okay to advertise their body to everyone when that right should be maintained for just me. Okay. He's making you change before you leave the house because he doesn't like what you're wearing. This is off to a horrifying start. He won't maintain a relationship with someone that partakes in their girls' night / weekend. I will never be okay with a girls' night, girls' weekend, or week. I will not stand by while you act like a feral woman. All right. Which of these manosphere podcasts has he been listening to? Is it Fresh and Fit? Andrew Tate? I don't even think he has a podcast, but this man is always in front of a microphone saying something dumb in like every single picture, which same, but you know, I'm not on trial for human trafficking. Anyways, fellas, is it feral to hang out with other women? If you want to behave that way like a single woman, you will do it without me. Our relationship is supposed to come first. I feel like this man is accidentally giving you like so many ways out. There's so many points during this rant where you could be like, yeah, you're right, bye. Anyways, the poster says, this came about because I wanted to go camping with my mom, sister, and nieces who are children. Hold on a second. This man was afraid of you getting turned with your mother. The only time I've ever seen my mom go anything close to feral is like when Idris Elba turns up on screen. Like, let her find out that this man shows up in a movie. But other than that, what exactly does he think you're going to be doing with your mom and your nieces who are children? Am I overreacting? Is he trying to control me through his boundaries? Or are they healthy? And should I maintain them if I want to stay with him? My honest advice is, instead of trying to figure out whether these boundaries are healthy, why don't you let him figure that out? And you can just exist outside of them by filing for divorce. I did not know there's a divorce.com. 1 million divorces. Anyways, before I give my verdict on whether or not this person is overreacting, I do have to grade this for authenticity. I think I'm gonna give this a B+. Nothing about this feels fake to me. Nothing about it is difficult for me to believe, even if parts of it are quite ridiculous. But as for my actual verdict, I'm gonna go ahead and say that this person is underreacting. And all jokes aside, you kind of answered your question in the very first sentence. My boyfriend's boundaries feel controlling to me. I really think you should just leave. It's not like this is a parent or the law or any entity that can exert some sort of influence over you. It sounds like right now the most you're dealing with is this clothing issue and this turning up with your mom issue. But I promise you, men like this are just going to continue escalating it to see what they can get away with. And if here's some brain rot manosphere podcast telling him like women who don't wear bras are advertising their bodies, the most inconvenience this has given you thus far is the fact that you had to change. But say he hears something that is like even worse than that. He has clearly demonstrated his willingness to put other people's opinions about what you should be doing over your actual autonomy. So as far as I'm concerned, it's donezo. So no, you're not overreacting, and also divorce. He calls going with your mom acting like a feral woman. So he's isolating you from your family. Oh wow. If you think about it, that is exactly what he was doing. He is trying to isolate you, and the abuse will escalate. Also, speaking of isolation, do you notice how much of his language is centered around trying to make her fear the fact that he's going to leave? If you want to act like a single woman, you'll be single without me. I'm not going to be with you if... It seems like he would be happier if you were alone, uncomfortable, and following his every command. So next, am I overreacting? My fiance used a laundry detergent I might be allergic against, so I changed my will? I think I'm going to incorporate that into my internal lexicon. The next time someone inconveniences me in any way, I'm just going to say, you know what? That's it. I'm changing my will. And then I'm going to refuse to elaborate. All right, so more relationship advice. My fiance and I recently bought a house together. We got basic things from his family as housewarming gifts. His grandmother gifted us a huge package of laundry detergent. Now, here's where the problem starts. I am, and I used to be, highly allergic against most laundry detergents. I'm not talking about some uncomfortable itchiness or whatever, but vomiting, diarrhea, losing my eyesight temporarily, and at the end of my consciousness. I have been hospitalized for this multiple times already. So laundry detergent is literally your kryptonite. That is crazy. Why is laundry detergent preying on your downfall like that? We're using two brands I'm not allergic against. He keeps complaining that they don't smell that good. So this person offered to try different detergents, but not in the foreseeable future, as I am 8 months pregnant and very afraid of the possible consequences. He agreed, and I thought the topic was done, but then his brother gifted us baby clothes. I sorted through them, and after I was around halfway done, I noticed I felt kind of off. My hands felt weird. My body felt wrong. Okay, wait. So he washed the clothes that you received as a gift with this new laundry detergent without checking if you were allergic. It turns out you were allergic, and then he did it again? He still decided to use the gifted laundry detergent on our towels. I didn't notice until I started folding them and putting them away. My hands started to get hot and kind of numb/itchy. I hope this doesn't sound like me overreacting, but your husband is trying to take you out. Right? Like, is this why this person is talking about changing their will? Because they are literally afraid their husband is going to actually kill them with laundry detergent. I asked him if he used the gifted laundry detergent. He said, yes, what's the big deal? I told him that that's not funny, and he's potentially playing with the life of our unborn son and mine, and why he thought that now of all times is the right time to test my allergy again. He called me a drama queen and ignored me after. So I changed my will. My fiance gets nothing now, neither my part of the house nor my other assets. Where do I even start? I guess we can start with the authenticity grade. I don't know whether to believe this or not, honestly. I'm going to give this a C, not because I think it's fake or not fake. I just don't know. But even just going off the scenario that has been presented here, I never thought I would say this sentence, but if somebody is demonstrating that they value a brand of laundry detergent over your actual life, divorce.com. I need to stop promoting them because I low-key don't know if they're like problematic. Seriously though, once again, I'm going to go ahead and say that this person is underreacting. This person should literally be running for their life. Are you sure you want to marry this person? I think this comment definitely sums up my thoughts. Even if he isn't trying to kill you, he doesn't care if he hurts you. That alone should make you in the relationship. But also, he may literally be trying to kill you. I do not think you should stick around and try to figure out whether he's just inconsiderate or like literally evil. All right, thankfully this next post looks a lot less serious. Am I overreacting for breaking off with this guy after he sent me a list of things he can't eat / is allergic to? I recently broke up with this guy after he sent a long list of things he can't eat. Okay, so the person writing this is a 27-year-old woman. They've been talking / dating this guy, 32-year-old man, for 3 months or so. We were having a conversation about food over text. I think I said something about not liking or eating an avocado or banana. I cannot think of avocados and bananas without thinking of this vine.
Welcome to my kitchen. We have bananas and avocados.
So the OP doesn't like or eat avocados or bananas. So I asked him what weird stuff he can't eat. He said a ton, lol. Then he sent a follow-up text. We've got everything on here. Okay, that's like almost all condiments. No peppers, no pepper jack cheese. So it's like all forms of beans. Okra, squash, zucchini. Bro, I could not even name this many foods if someone held a gun to my head. Oh my god, there's more. Cream of wheat, farina, coleslaw, sushi, lemons, limes, and grapefruit. Okay, we've got some emoji action here. Tea, coffee, and frog legs that you can't eat. I can't eat the stuff with the caution sign beside it, but I don't eat the rest. Okay, so you have a citrus allergy and you just hate all other food for no reason. I'm not gonna lie, I was immediately turned off. I understood the citrus allergy, but I made the argument it's gonna be difficult to be together because I love cooking and trying new food. And he said he can always find something to eat, which is true, but it seems as if he has the palate of a child. This person then explains that a lot of the things on that list overlap with food that is commonly served in her culture. What's gonna happen if we move forward and he met my family? How would I explain that my potential boyfriend can't eat all these food items that we always cook? He's literally the type of man I want to be with. He doesn't want children either. He likes to travel like me. He's funny. He's objectively attractive. He has a good job and is financially healthy. Oh man, this is actually kind of tricky. Because I was gonna say, if this is just some dude you were dating, dip, but you're already thinking about introducing him to your family and it sounds like you're planning a life together in your head. Is that worth letting sauerkraut come between you, I wonder? I mulled over these different thoughts and ideas and I eventually texted him and said I don't think I could date him. He simply replied okay and thanked me for telling him. That was about a week ago. So did I overreact? All right, so first, grading for authenticity. I feel like this is real. I don't know if that's just me being silly, but I'm going to go ahead and give it an A-. If it is fake, wonderful work with like the food list. But as for whether or not this person is overreacting, I'm going to go ahead and say no. It sounds like food is very important and the act of sharing food together with family means a lot to this person. So if you haven't really committed to somebody and you already know there's this really massive part of your life you're not going to be able to share with them, I guess it makes sense that you don't really see a way forward. But still, getting broken up with because you don't like sauerkraut is crazy. But no, I don't think this person's overreacting. I think they just made a difficult but ultimately prudent choice. What do you think about this one? Would you break up in the same scenario? I honestly have no idea. I broke up with someone for the same reason. I love to cook and try new foods in general. It just wouldn't work. This is sad, but true, I think. Compatibility is kind of a big deal. I don't think you're overreacting. I avoid people who would complicate my life more than they add to it. Do you think loneliness made him seem like a better option than he was? Okay, this person's just like in another stratosphere, but I believe they're actually correct. Food or no food, if you look at the real question, it's should I give up a lot of what is really important to me just so I can be with this one person? And it sounds like you came to the correct conclusion, which is no. Am I overreacting because I'm mad my husband didn't stand up for me when his friend called me gross, fat, and a turkey? What do you even mean? We were having dinner last night at a friend's house whom I've only met a few times and my husband has recently been hanging out with more. While holding our 10-month-old on my lap, my husband showed his friend pictures from our wedding last summer. I was 37 weeks pregnant and had gained 35 pounds at that point. The friend looks at a photo and says, "Oh, gross, what happened to you? Your face is so fat, you look like a fat turkey." I'm sorry, is your husband's friend 12 or like what is happening here? So this person tries to explain what happens when you get pregnant, but he wasn't interested in listening and just went on laughing and repeating similar insults. I looked at my husband and he just laughed along with him. I went and put our baby to bed and cried myself to sleep. My husband has never stood up for me when people have said mean things to me. All right, go ahead and give me your state of residence. I'm gonna go ahead and fill this out for you because this is ridiculous. Let's go ahead and begin that divorce process. Real talk though, this is gonna sound extreme, but if somebody doesn't stand up for you when you're being insulted, it's because they agree with the insults. In fact, the only reason this friend would have been comfortable talking about you like that around the husband is if the husband talks about you like that with the friend. I can't stand him anymore and I want him to get the hell out of the house. Am I overreacting? Similar incidents have happened before and my husband does not have my back or will join in with the person who's belittling me. Nah, I'm gonna give this one an A+ for authenticity because I have seen this happen too many times, and it is really rough that you have effectively married your bully while he is still bullying you. But unfortunately, that's exactly what's happening here. This is like the third underreacting I'm giving for this video, but you seriously need to dip, which is obviously not the easiest thing to do when you have an entire family, but still, it's just ugh. And I can't stress this enough, but literally, how old is this friend? Sounds like he has the maturity of a literal middle schooler. Am I overreacting? I sent my wife flowers. That's it. That's just the whole title. All right, so let's see why this person should get divorced. So this is a 34-year-old man who sent his 34-year-old wife of 6 years a beautiful bouquet of assorted flowers on a whim. When I got home, I found the card from the florist unopened in the driveway in front of the house. I picked it up and went inside and called out to my beauty, who was in the family room. When I went in, it felt strange. She wouldn't look at me, and there was no sign of the flowers. I was puzzled, but went upstairs to— this is fiction. I'm reading fiction right now on the internet, which is fine, but my fiction sensors just went off. I was puzzled, but went upstairs to change clothes. I looked all around, but they were nowhere to be seen. Oh no! I went out to the garage and the bouquet was in the trash can. Why am I low-key crying already? Oh, I'm not. I went to the kitchen and fixed myself a drink and called to her and asked how her day had been. She said it was okay and didn't carry the conversation any further. I've been sitting here wondering what the hell is going on, about to pack a bag. Am I overreacting? I apologize in advance if you are just a naturally lyrical individual, but I'm just going to have to go ahead and say the way this was written leads me to believe it didn't actually happen. I feel bad giving my first F of the day, but I think I have to fail this one in terms of authenticity. No, wait, there's an update. I confronted her and she got really cagey. After a few hours of me being really quiet, she came in and admitted that she had been caught up in an emotional thing with a guy from work. Nothing physical, she swore. They were chatting suggestively and flirting. The last message on there from her was asking if he sent the flowers and chiding him because he knows she's married. I'm halfway shattered and partly relieved. Okay, so she threw away the flowers because she's just so committed to you, even though actually she was cheating. My brother in Christ, this is fan fiction. My God, and it just keeps going on. I like the top comment. Dude, there's so much missing from this story, it's ridiculous. You do not get an overreacting, underreacting grade, you just fail. But if this was a K-drama, I would watch it. So don't give up on your writing career. Am I overreacting? I'm not. To my pervy boyfriend. I like how this person's trying to beat their own allegations here. I've lived with my boyfriend for a few years. We both have kids, but none together. I have a 19-year-old daughter, and we just found that he hid a camera in her room. Hey Alexa, jail near me? Where's the nearest jail? We aren't living together anymore. Relationship is clearly over. What I'm not clear on and want to know, am I overreacting about, is whether or not it's worth it to press charges. And this person's saying there were no red flags before this. They didn't find anything on his computer. It doesn't matter. Should charges be pressed that can ruin his life and potentially send him to jail? He would be potentially sending himself to jail in this scenario. You would just be standing up for not only your daughter, but like any other person he could potentially interact with before he gets that sorted out. Just because you didn't find anything on the computer doesn't mean the police can't. Oh, that's so creepy, but I do think this person's right. I hate this question. I don't even want to give this a grade. This is literally a legal issue. Am I overreacting about my parents putting a camera in my sister's in my dorm room? Bro, where are y'all finding these people? So I'm studying abroad and my parents are putting a camera in our room. They're insisting that if it's facing the door, it's not a problem, but I think they just want to monitor every one of our moves. Okay, so at the very least, the camera is not showing your actual room, I guess. Obviously not making excuses for this insane behavior. They already have our live locations. They already know when we go out, where we go out, everything. I'm just asking to not have a camera in the room. They say I'll understand if I had kids. They're acting like I'm crazy for being mad about it. I'm being immature for not wanting that. I'm gonna give this a B+ on the authenticity. I could see this happening because some parents really believe that they physically own you no matter how old you get. This is a dorm room, so I'm pretty sure the thing that they're trying to do is not even within their power to do. We both are adults, yes, but we completely depend on them for everything material, and they keep using the excuse that they've done everything for us. I've tried unplugging it once and my dad called me in the middle of the night screaming at me to plug it in. Okay, hold on a second. The camera is already there. I wouldn't say this person is overreacting or underreacting. I think anger is a perfectly valid reaction to this. I'm not even going to sit here and say like, oh, you know, I could see how them wanting to be safe could lead to... Your parents need help. Talk to the school. I don't think it would be allowed because it will film other students. They have an expectation of privacy in the building. If it's pointed towards the door, it can see into the hallway. Yeah, I'm not a lawyer, but I just feel like the dorm does not belong to your parents, and so they legally have no right to do what they're trying to do here. But I can't even use the word legally because I don't know the legals and the laws, but surely somebody could help me out here. My advice would be to just unplug the camera anyway. I have 3 college-age kids and I'm very protective. This is way over the norm. Can't even see normal from here. Wait until your parents go home, then unplug the camera. Okay. I think this next post should be a little less ill. Fingers crossed there's no camera. Am I overreacting? Husband keeps feeding our baby soy sauce? I don't even know where to start. Last week I found out that my husband, Mark, gave our baby, Lucy, a spoonful of soy sauce. Yep, soy sauce. And now it's like she's addicted to the stuff? I mean, first of all, same, Lucy. She's just like me for real. But oh my god, a baby? She seemed curious about it, so I thought I'd let her try, says the husband. That in and of itself, I don't think is crazy. But the next day I walked into the same thing. He was giving her more soy sauce. He said it's not a big deal. He even laughed about it. Since then, it's been a nightmare. Lucy keeps pointing at the cupboard where we keep the soy sauce and every meal's like a battle. He keeps giving her spoonfuls of soy sauce and it's like she's developed this weird obsession. I have tried talking to him about it. He just shrugs it off, saying it's no big deal. How old is 14 months old? This is a baby. So I snapped a bit yesterday. I told him it wasn't funny. He licked her and said he was just trying to bond with her. It's been a rough few days, and I really hope we can figure this out before our little girl becomes a soy sauce addict for life. This story broke my authenticity detectors. I literally have no idea if this is true or not. I genuinely could not say I believe or disbelieve this, so maybe I'll give it a C. As for whether you're overreacting, your husband is repeatedly just feeding your baby almost straight up sodium to the point where it has literally altered her taste and this is all she wants. That's too much sodium for a baby. She could get kidney damage. 1 tablespoon of soy sauce contains almost 40% of the daily recommended allowance for an adult. Why does he need soy sauce to bond with his child? The only thing I could say in this case is instead of saying, hey, I don't think this is funny and you should stop, maybe you should just tell them, hey, this is dangerous and you're jeopardizing her health. Are you going to continue to do that? And you can base any further actions off of his response to that. But for now, if this is really happening, no, you are obviously not overreacting. And you know, that was technically the last post, but I do think I need to say it one final time. In fact, if you know what I'm about to say, maybe you can say it with me. Divorce! They literally owe me money at this point. Anyways, brief recap. My boyfriend thinks I'm going feral with my mom, underreacting. My husband is actually trying to poison me with laundry detergent, underreacting. I broke up with my boyfriend over food, appropriate reaction, unfortunately. My husband's possibly 12-year-old friend called me a fat turkey and he laughed about it. Anger as an appropriate reaction with hopefully divorce as an option. My boyfriend installed a camera in my daughter's room. Jail. My parents installed a camera. Appropriate reaction of being angry and hopefully the option to do something about it. I bought my wife flowers, but she threw them away because she just loved me so much even though she was cheating. Fail. My husband has potentially gotten our daughter hooked on soy sauce. Absolutely underreacting. I didn't give that one a verdict yet, but anger is an appropriate reaction and you need to let him know that this is not okay. And to everyone involved, have a good divorce. Anyway, this is the part of the video where a layman would ask you to subscribe, leave a comment, or like the video. But I will ask you to enroll, evaluate the video, and submit your feedback. Because I am, of course, running a 100% totally, completely, all the way, don't look too closely, no, I promise it's real this time, accredited university. Not really. But seriously, just ask anybody in the student body and they'll confirm it for you. We're totally legit. And as for me, whether you'll see me in 24 hours or 24 months is honestly anyone's guess. But until then, thanks for watching. Your homework for today's video is to act as feral as possible, especially if you are a woman. That way you can piss off that one person's boyfriend.